Thank you. Mr. Kaplowitz.
Yes.
As chairman of the county's legislature's Committee on Government Operations, Efficiency, and Savings, you no doubt have insight here, certified financial planner. On your website, you say you will look to lower taxes on businesses. So could you, sir, please be specific about what steps you will take to
I'd like to answer this question if I could, please. Generally, you ask a question, and
yes,
both of us have a chance to do that, if you don't mind. Assemblyman Greg Ball is certainly entitled to his own opinion. Assemblyman Greg Ball is not entitled to his own facts. The facts are that Westchester County, by his own admission, Putnam County, Rockland, Dutchess, all the New York metropolitan counties have faced tremendous stress. And we've worked very hard to control our costs. In fact, he's going to hold up a silly chart. It shows 4.2%. I'll do the math for you. 4.2% increase annually since 1997.
Actually,
I've not been,
sir,
please. I have the floor. I have the floor, please. Okay, I will not interrupt you, sir. Okay.
Correct your
Since I have the floor, please.
Yes, sir.
Since 1997, costs have been up, and I've been chairman 4 years therein. 4.2 is almost half of what New York State has been since that period of time, point one. Point two, I have saved $120 million by going through every single line and every single program. Works out to $10 million per year, or 2% tax decrease because of Mike Kaplowitz and other colleagues that have joined me. Things like a helicopter that we saved $3.1 million. The women's jail that we closed that saved $4.5 million. Personnel, overtime. I don't take a paid cell phone. This gentleman does. I don't take reimbursements on my car.
Mr. Kaplowitz, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we do have to move along, and I just wanted to get back to my specific question about what you will do if elected.
Yes, thank you. I'm getting to the question. And so we need to set the record straight, because you need to understand that the root problem is Albany, to Albany. Your question was on consolidation. The problem is that the Attorney General's legislation that was passed did not allow for school districts and other taxing entities. My opponent is not right. It's not 5,000. It's over 10,000 taxing entities here in the state of New York. And we need to provide the ability for schools, which is 60 to 70% of our property tax, not the county level. Every valiant effort we are doing, it's spitting in the ocean. It's Albany that's the problem, because they make the counties and the towns and the school districts spend dollars on things that they must spend without the dollars to make it happen. And we need to provide the relief. I'm running for New York State Senate because that's the head of the river. That's where the solutions are. And that's, in fact, where I'm going to be able to bring consolidation, reducing spending, and getting the fiscal house in order. You cannot spend more than you make. That's a precept in business as a financial planner, as a government official, and I will bring that precept to the state of New York.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. My first question is for you, Mr. Kaplowitz. You just went into detail about your microscopic detail you did on budgetary matters in Westchester County in your time there. I want you to speak to the vote that you cast to ratify the county's affordable housing settlement. And I'd like to know if you still stand by that vote today, and how exactly the county ought to be proud about the situation degenerating to the point that the federal monitors had to get involved.
That was a vote that was the toughest vote that I've taken in 12 years. That's a vote of leadership. That's a vote that, given the circumstance, I'm proud of that vote, because we made it as good as possible. And sometimes in life, and sometimes in Albany, there are going to be those kind of votes. The affordable housing issue came up because, unfortunately, the previous county executive and his administration did something wrong. And we were sued, and we lost in federal court 6 times. When a settlement came to the County Board of Legislators, it was a fait accompli. Take this settlement or fight it. If you take it, it's going to require $60.6 million. If you fight it, you could lose up to $540 million, $1 billion, half of these people's money. If you take it, 50 million of that 60 will go to workforce housing, not low-income housing, as my opponent would have you believe. Not based on quota, not based on the color of one's skin or nationality, but based simply on, do you have income? And it's $82,000. We are crying for workforce housing in this district. We have volunteer firefighters. We have teachers. We have store clerks that need this housing. I would not gamble and stand here proudly to say, given what was the choice that I had and what we were with, yes, I would not and still would never have voted for the $540 million gamble. We get workforce housing, and there are 31 communities that will be building as much as 750, and I worked to make sure that was the cap.
You
That was the settlement.
answered the first half of my question about that midnight vote and whether you stand by it. But are we saying that it was strictly the county executive's job and oversight to make sure the problem didn't degenerate to the point where you had to choose between bad and worse?
The answer is yes. His planning department, he signed off on the certifications to HUD each and every year. But in his defense, 1,100 other counties did the same. Under the previous presidential administration, in annual reports, HUD checked off when we signed it and certified that in our AI, analysis of impediments, that we were looking at everything, including race and the like. When the new administration came in, they changed the standards. Similar to running down the street at 60 miles an hour, and in the middle of the night, they put up a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit, and now suddenly you're guilty. The answer was yes. The rules were changed retroactively. We got caught. The county executive was, at that point, we had to do something about it, and as a legislature, we dealt with the best we could, and we turned lemons into lemonade for the people of Westchester County.
Thank you, Mr. Kaplowitz. Now, Mr. Ball, I know that you would have voted differently if given the chance. I've gleaned that from what you've spoken on the issue. But my question is a little bit different. In response to the lawsuit, you said the following on your website, hikeyourtaxesmike.net, of which I'm sure you're not a big fan, Mr. Kaplowitz. You wrote, Kaplowitz has also voted to use taxpayer money to build affordable housing in northern Westchester, with 200 units alone and slated for Somers that will recruit the nation's poorest and weakest to this quiet small town. And I want to focus on the last bit of language. The poorest and weakest. What do you mean by poorest and weakest?
Well, I mean, first, that's not a direct quote from me. It's from a website.
No, it's directly from the website.
It's from a website that is part of a political campaign that's being run separate from my campaign. But to get back to the issues, we've seen it.
With all due respect, I'd ask the audience here to just tone it down. Please, we have a lot to get to in this hour, so I'd ask the audience.
And I will very specifically say that I have never made a comment like that, either on the record, off the record, before an editorial board interview, or anything else. The larger issue about this $60 million unfunded mandate and what we're seeing is a track record tonight. Well, he says, well, I'm running for state senate because it's Albany's fault that I had to raise taxes. He was budget chairman. He was the Sheldon Silver of White Plains. He could have either sent those tax dollars back to you in the form of tax relief or increased spending. He decided to increase spending by over $1 billion. He increased taxes each and every time that Andy Spano asked him to jump through that hoop. Now, on a federal affordable housing disaster, a low-income housing disaster, which does not provide workforce housing, and I will take you directly to that document.
But my question is, since you didn't get to cast a vote on it, sir, I'm not really asking how you would have voted that night. I think we're clear on that. I'm asking what was attached to a website of which a phrase that you've used here.
Well, I can tell you
again. Yeah. Are you condemning that language?
I can tell you right now that I would absolutely condemn that sentence, absolutely, and I'd be proud to do it. But at the same time, we have towns like Lewisboro, Bedford, Pound Ridge, Somers, and others that are now facing a $60 million unfunded mandate. We have the chairman of the Budget Appropriations Committee who's saying that he's going to eliminate the unfunded mandates in Albany, yet he rubber-stamped an unfunded mandate at the local level. And directly,
I promise you we're going to get into more opportunities to talk about the differences between the candidacies, but let's move on.
On the workforce housing issue, if I can just follow up, because he had about a 3-minute tirade there. Excerpt from page 10. The county shall use all, and maybe you should have read the settlement. The county shall use all available means as appropriate to achieve these objectives. Ban local, in page 24, ban local residency requirements. So in that settlement, they are actually going to be marketing, using your taxpayer dollars, marketing to low-income individuals outside of Westchester County. And it also says, on the senior housing issue, no more than 25% of the affordable units shall be intended for occupancy by senior citizens, and those are also out of county. So when he talks about workforce housing for seniors, workforce housing or affordable housing for seniors, and workforce housing for firemen and cops, he's lying before the camera.
But here's the thing, just so we go, no, guys, we've got to move on to a bunch of different issues. No, it's not. We're going to move on to the next question.
That's not fair, and it's not correct, sir.